Ohio State, Michigan, 12 o'clock East. Buckeyes -10, totals 44.5. We're 6-0 in our last 6 NFL tier package plays on my premium page. Ohio State's 11-0 on the year. Michigan's 9-2. And more recently, the Wolverines got the W in their last 5 straight. They're 5-0 straight up in the big house this year as well. And I'll tell you what, for a team catching double-digit points at home in a massive rivalry like this, the Wolverines have certainly done a great job covering the number in this series. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 gatherings with Ohio State. So if you're into historical trends, it's pretty much been all Michigan with regard to the point spread. As far as this season's concerned, well, the Wolverines have been catapulted by some strong defensive play. They're allowing just 10 points a game in Michigan Stadium, 3.8 yards per play on their home field. Ernest Hausman leads the D in tackles. Derek Moore with 9.5 sacks on the year. They're facing an Ohio State team who, I really can't say much bad about them. They've just been decimating teams, although I get you can't control your schedule, but strength of schedule is pretty embarrassing. And they did fail to cover against the likes of Purdue this year and the Ohio Bobcats. Of course, when it comes to this passing game, Julian Sayin, he ranks 100th in the country in yards per pass on the road. Now, weather-wise, could get some snow in the late minutes of this one, maybe, fourth quarter. Possibility of a snow squall. Definitely going to be 31 degrees at kickoff as well. So it's your typical rivalry game where it's cold as shit and it's going to be a lot of hard hitting. Now, total-wise, Ohio State games went 6-3 to the under in their last 9. Michigan with unders against Purdue, Washington, and USC. I like Michigan +10, under 44.5. Next matchup, Kentucky, Louisville, 12 o'clock East. Louisville's -3, totals 46.5. And I'll tell you what, in this matchup here, both defenses have done a real nice job this season. Starting with Louisville, they're allowing just 21 points a game at home, top 30 in the nation in yards allowed per throw. Watson Mack with a handful of interceptions out of that secondary. Bailey and Lubin with double-digit sacks combined. And they're facing a Kentucky defense who's definitely been aggressive against the run. The Wildcats are in the top 35 in rushing defense, allowed just 6 points a game on average in their last 3 victories. Rayner and Bryant with 130 tackles between the both of them. Souls and Humphrey Grace with a handful of sacks combined. Louisville with unders in 3 out of their last 4. Unders against the likes of SMU, Clemson, and Virginia Tech. I like the under 46.5. All right, next contest, Texas Tech taking on West Virginia. That'll be a 12 o'clock Eastern kickoff. Texas Tech is -23 on the road, totals 52.5. And even though the Red Raiders are red hot right now, well, this is a lot of points to be giving up in a conference game on the road. Plus, listen, Morgantown's weather is going to be a bit chillier than it is in Lubbock, Texas. Looks like about 35 degrees at kickoff. Looks like probably about high 20s during warm-ups. So this is a team who's going to be probably, shivering a little bit in the early going here. And listen, they're going to take on a Mountaineer squad who's been real competitive over the past month. I know the record doesn't really reflect that, but they've really competed against teams. They did cover the number in their last 4 straight. We're looking at covers against the likes of Arizona State, Houston, and TCU. So pretty good caliber of competition. And listen, out of a handful of games in Morgantown this year, the Mountaineers covered the number in all of those games except 1. Now, this West Virginia defense currently ranks 3rd in the country in fumbles. Fred Perry leads the D in fumble recoveries, team leader in tackles as well. Meanwhile, Lewis and Carrico with over 120 tackles combined. West Virginia home games went 4-1 to the under in their last 5. Texas Tech with unders in 3 out of their last 4 away from Lubbock. Give me West Virginia +23, under 52.5. Miami Pitt, 12 o'clock East. Miami's -7.5 away from home. Totals 49 and a hook. And I'll tell you what, this is another one of those spots where I think weather is not favorable to the traveling team. Looking about 34 degrees and gloomy at kickoff in Pittsburgh. And when it comes to the point spread, the Canes have definitely had their issues covering the number of the past month or so. They failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4. Failures to cover against the likes of Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and SMU. They're taking on a Pittsburgh squad who got the W in 6 out of their last 7 themselves. Covered the point spread in all of those contests except one. I'll tell you what, during that time frame, Panthers definitely scored a whole lot of points. They averaged over 40 points a game in those victories I just previously mentioned. Johnson and Williams with over 1,250 yards receiving combined. Ja'Kerian Turner leads the team in rushing yards. He's actually averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Pitt games went 4-2 to the over in their last 6. Miami with overs against Virginia Tech, Syracuse, and Stanford. I like the Pitt Panthers plus 7.5 over 49 and a hook. Next matchup, Clemson, South Carolina, 12 o'clock Eastern start. South Carolina's -3, totals 47.5. And I'll tell you what, in this particular game, both offenses with their fair share of struggles this year. Starting with South Carolina, the Gamecocks are averaging just 3.3 yards per rush. All kinds of problems protecting the quarterback. South Carolina's in the bottom 5 in the nation in sacks allowed per game. And they're facing a Clemson squad on the other side who's been rather inefficient running the football themselves. The Tigers are 112th in rushing offense. They tend to put the ball on the turf a bunch as well. Now, both schools with unders in 3 out of their last 6, respectively. I like the under 47.5. All right, next game, Houston, Baylor, 12 o'clock East. Baylor's -3, totals 57.5. Baylor's just 5-6 on the year. Houston is 8-3. And the Cougars have done a solid job running the football this year. Dean Connors leads the team in rushing yards. Connor Weigman with 29 total touchdowns combined. And they're facing a Baylor defense who allows 33 points a game, bottom 10 in rushing defense. The Bears allow nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. When it comes to the point spread, these guys have been amongst the worst covering teams in the nation. Baylor failed to cover in 8 out of their last 9 outings. Now, total-wise, the under cashed 5 times during that stretch I just mentioned. Houston with unders against TCU, Arizona State, and Texas Tech. Give me Houston +3, under 57.5. Next game, Vanderbilt taking on Tennessee. That's going to be a 3:30 Eastern kickoff. Tennessee is -3. Total is 65.5. The Volunteers are 8-3 on the year, doing a nice job moving the chains. Tennessee's in the top 3 in the nation in total yards per game, leading the country in scoring. Joey Aguilar's thrown for over 3,100 yards. Brazel and Staley with nearly 1,700 receiving yards combined. They're facing a Vandy defense who allowed 30 points a game on average in their last 3 contests. When it comes to passing defense, well, the secondary allows 24 completed balls a game, 119th in defensive completion percentage. Vandy with overs in their last 3 straight, 7-3 to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, Tennessee games have gone 64% to the over for the entire year. I like Tennessee -3, over 65.5. LSU, Oklahoma, 3:30 East. OU's -10.5, totals 36 and a hook. Oklahoma's covered in 64% of their contests this year. LSU just 3-8 against the point spread themselves. The Tigers are in the bottom 15 in rushing yards. Definitely struggling throwing the football as well. LSU's in the bottom 10 in yards per completion. And they're taking on a Sooner pass rush who leads the nation in sacks. Tough team to run the football against. Oklahoma holds opposing ball carriers to just 2.4 yards per touch. That's second lowest in the NCAA. Kip Lewis, team leader in tackles. Thomas and Wine with a dozen sacks between the both of them. Sooners with unders in all of their contests this year except 2. LSU games have gone 73% to the under themselves. I like Oklahoma -10.5, under 36 and a hook. Next matchup, Missouri taking on Arkansas, 3:30 Eastern start. Mizzou's -4, totals 55.5. Now, the Tigers dropped 3 out of their last 4 games, and they're actually just 2-6 against the point spread in their last 8. It's a team who definitely lost their identity after the injury to Bo Pribula. And listen, they're taking on a high-powered, generally overlooked Arkansas offense who's given a lot of teams some problems this year. I know the record is going to confuse you. You're like, man, this team stinks. But they're just getting outscored. It's an offense who's definitely been a problem for opposing defenses. The Razorbacks are in the top 10 in the country in total yards per game, top 5 in yards per rush. When it comes to throwing the football, Arkansas is averaging 14 yards per completion. Blake and Sharp with over 1,200 yards receiving. Mike Washington's run for over 1,000 yards on the ground himself, 6.5 yards a carry. When it comes to the number, the Hogs covered this year against LSU, Texas A&M, and Tennessee. Arkansas with overs in 73% of their games. Missouri with overs against Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and South Carolina. I like Arkansas +4, over 55.5. All right, next game. Damn it. There you go. Next game, little Big Ten action. Oregon taking on Washington. That's going to be a 3:30 Eastern start. Oregon's -6, totals 51.5. The Ducks are 10-1 on the year, 7-4 against the point spread. And this Oregon defense allows just 14 points a game. Definitely a tough secondary to throw the football against. The Ducks allowed just 13 completed balls a game, top 5 in lowest defensive quarterback rating. Bryce Betcher leads the day in tackles, Tuioti and Uiagalelei with double-digit sacks combined. And they're facing a Washington team who failed to cover this year against the likes of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Maryland. Washington games went 5-3 to the under in their last 8. Meanwhile, Oregon with unders this year against Iowa, Wisconsin, and Indiana. Give me Oregon -6, under 51.5. All right, next game, Cincinnati, TCU, 3:30 Eastern start. TCU's -4, totals 57.5. TCU's 7-4 on the year, but they do have a losing record against the point spread. When it comes to the number, the Horned Frogs failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4, having some trouble at times in the secondary. TCU's 108th in passing defense, bottom 25 in fumbles. And they're facing a Cincy O-line who's done a terrific job protecting the quarterback. Fewest sacks allowed in the FBS, doing a great job running the football as well. The Bearcats are averaging over 5.9 yards per rush. Walker and Sorsby combined for nearly 1,200 rushing yards, 5.8 yards a carry between the both of them. And speaking of Sorsby, he's thrown for over 2,500 yards and 33 total combined touchdowns. Cincy with overs in 6 out of their last 10. TCU with overs against BYU, Baylor, and Kansas State. Give me Cincy +4, over 57.5. Back, Virginia, 7 o'clock East. Virginia's -7. The Cavaliers -7, totals 53. And the Cavaliers are 9-2 on the year, covered in 64% of those contests. Their defensive unit has been tough to move the football against. They're in the top 20 in total yards allowed, holding opposing ball carriers to just 3.3 yards per touch. Neal and Robinson with 130 tackles combined. Rickard and K-Mac with 11 sacks between the both of them. And they're facing a Hokie team who lost their last 3 straight, covered the number in just 27% of their games this year. This Hokie offensive line has definitely struggled protecting the quarterback. They're 106th in sacks allowed per game. And when it comes to passing the ball, well, Vatek's in the bottom 20 in yards per attempt. Now, total-wise, both schools with unders in 5 out of their last 8, respectively. Give me Virginia, the Cavaliers, -7, under 53. Next game, Bama, Auburn, 7:30 East. Alabama's -5, totals 46.5. The Tide's 9-2 on the year, 8-3 against the point spread. Auburn just 5-6, 4-7 against the number. This Auburn offensive line has done a poor job protecting the quarterback. They're in the bottom 5 in sacks allowed, and because of that, it's an Auburn team who throws for just $191 a game. And they're squaring off against a Bama secondary who's in the top 5 in passing defense, allowing just $148 a game through the air. Hubbard and Lee with a handful of picks out of the secondary. Pierre and Overton with double-digit sacks between the both of them. Bama games went 7-1 to the under in their last 8. Auburn with unders in 5 out of their last 8 themselves. Give me Alabama -5, under 46.5. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final breakdown for the video. UNLV taking on Nevada, 9 o'clock Eastern start. UNLV's -7.5, totals 53 and a hook. The Rebels are 9-2 on the year, but they have had some problems covering the point spread. UNLV failed to cover in 4 out of their last 6. They've got significant holes on defense, especially against the run. UNLV allows 5.3 yards per run, and no real surprise, the Rebels are in the bottom 10 in the nation in total yards allowed per game. They're facing a Nevada team who won their last 2 straight, did a nice job covering the point spread over the past month or so. Nevada failed to cover in 5 out of their last 7. Actually, did I say fail to cover? Man, Brock, you are totally unfocused today with your notes. Nevada successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 7. Actually doing a nice job protecting the quarterback up front. The Wolfpack's allowing under 1.7 sacks a game. Nevada contest went 7-3 to the under in their last 10. UNLV games went 64% to the under for the entire season. I like Nevada +7.5, under 53 and a hook. And with that, folks, now it's time for our quick pick recap. I like Michigan +10, under 44.5. Give me the under 46.5 in that Kentucky-Louisville matchup. We're 6-0 at our last 6 NFL tier package plays on my premium page. 80% in our last 15 in that same membership. Miami, Ohio, -17, under 42. West Virginia, +23, under 52.5. East Carolina, -6.5, over 66. Pitt Panthers, +7.5, over 49 and a hook. Give me the under 47.5 in that Clemson, South Carolina matchup. Houston, +3, under 57.5. Toledo, -10, under 46. Kansas State, -16.5, over 50. Iowa State, -13, over 46. BYU, -17.5, over 47. Delaware, -3.5, over 55. Florida International, -10, over 51. I like Marshall, -9.5, over 63. Old Dominion, -27.5, over 59. Jacksonville State, +3.5, over 56. Louisiana Tech, +2.5, over 47. Appalachian State, +1.5, over 54. Tulsa, -8, over 58. Louisiana, -8.5, under 47. New Mexico State, -3, over 52. Syracuse, +3.5, over 53. Texas State, -8.5, over 62. Liberty, +2.5, over 56. Tennessee, -3, over 65.5. Rutgers, +14, over 56. Oklahoma, -10.5, under 36 and a hook. Minnesota, +2, under 38. Arkansas, +4, over 55.5. Oregon, -6, under 51 and a hook. Wake Forest, +1.5, over 55. Cincinnati, +4, over 57.5. Army, +8, over 50. Troy, +7, under 50.5. James Madison, -22, under 54. Give me the over 49.5. Florida State, Florida. Oregon State, +14, under 43. Rice, +28.5, over 58. Michigan State, -3.5, under 50. Virginia, -7, under 53. Northwestern, +8, under 46. North Carolina, +7.5, under 50. Tulane, -30, under 53. USC, -21, over 58. Alabama, -5, under 46.5. SMU, -13, under 53. Nevada, +7.5, under 53 and a hook. Notre Dame, -31, under 50. Fresno State, -3, under 48. Give me Hawaii, -7, under 45. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Saturday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.